Welcome back to Startup Accounting 101. This is a video series for founders to understand accounting fundamentals for running a business. We're continuing through the financial projections template, and this is available for free from score.org. Just go to the template gallery and find this template, download it. I'll have their link in the description below. So this video will cover tab 5A, which is the operating expenses for year one. And operating expenses are sometimes referred to a couple of different names. One is SG&A, which stands for Sales, General, and Administrative Expenses. They're also known as overhead expenses. And these two kind of refer to any cost that's not really driven by sales, not directly driven by sales or the production of goods. And so if we go back to the sales forecast, here you could see that sales and COGS are very directly related, and that's referred to what we talked about. They're variable expenses. Because when one goes up, so when you sell a candy bar, make a sale, COGS will also go up. There's a direct correlation between sales and COGS. So we would consider this a variable expense because it varies because of the sales. Versus operations, these are considered fixed costs and fixed expenses. And these generally cover like sales, marketing, finance, legal, HR. These are all really important departments in a company, in a business. They're just not directly tied to production the way that like supply chain and of course production would be. So over here we have the most common expense categories for a business. And so I think what I'll do is I'll review each expense category and provide some examples of what would be booked into these categories. So we're starting with advertising. So this would be like a sales and marketing spend. And typically what would go in here would be paid media. So if you have, Google AdWords, Instagram ads, if you have any sort of influencer programs, they would all go under advertising and marketing. Next, car and truck expenses. It's fairly intuitive. If you have a company car, van, a lot of service-based companies like plumbing, if you're a plumber or a caterer, you might have a van for transporting your tools or the food that you're going to provide for events. Also, if you have employees that will submit receipts for gas or parking reimbursement, that would fall under the car and truck expenses. Next, we have commissions and fees. This, to me, would be a sales expense. The most common thing I see here are like sales commissions. If you are working with a broker. So coming back here, if you are working with a broker at like UNFI, KeyHe, one of the major sort of retailers, you might have come to that relationship through a broker. So they would actually get a cut of the sales minus deductions. They would get a cut of that or a commission. So that would go here. Next, we have contract labor. That's not included in payroll, so not included in the people that was estimated here, both full-time, part-time, and contractors. And also, I would say anyone that doesn't fall within sort of the legal and professional services. So this, I would say if you have a website redesign or somebody coming on as a designer or developer to help you with a website, that might be something you would put into contract labor. And pretty much anything that doesn't fall anywhere else, cleanly anywhere else, you would put into contract labor. And any department would that requires contract labor would come here. Insurance. So insurance, we have, other than health insurance, would come here. So if you likely need general liability, workers' comp, E&O, which is errors and omissions, any other form of corporate insurance, you would put here. Legal and professional services, you have basically all of your legal fees, HR, consulting, accounting, those are all sort of professional services that would fall under this category. Licenses. Any business license, or if you're a restaurant, if you need an alcohol license, that would come here. Office expense. I would put almost any service for the office. So if you have cleaning services, if you have software subscriptions, things like that, I would put into office expense. There are 2 rental categories. So these are pretty intuitive. If you have to rent machinery, you would put it here. If you have an office lease or a kitchen lease, you would put that here. Repairs and maintenance, anything that's necessary for equipment repair. If you have to come in, you need like plumbing or electrical work, you will put under repair and maintenance. Supplies could be anything from like office supplies, kitchen supplies that you need. Anything that's tangible, like an actual material item, would fall under supplies. Travel, meals, and entertainment. So if you're going to trade shows, conventions, client meetings, if you want to order lunch for your team, sort of like team appreciation, expenses would fall under this row. Utilities, like water, power, internet, waste, that would fall under utilities. And then anything else that's relevant for your business, you can put under miscellaneous. So for me, one of the things that I put in here is trade. So trade expense is actually not, so if you're dealing with wholesale or Costco customers, you're going to incur something called trade, and there's no other category really where that fits in. So I'm going to put trade expense into miscellaneous. And again, trade covers any sort of discount, promotion, deduction, free fill, or any other incentive for retailers to stock your product, to put it into their catalog and to promote the product. So that kind of I'm going to put here. And then this section is to estimate how much you think you're going to spend per category. So I've just made the best estimate that I can for this. And if you have historical information, you would put that in here. Otherwise, it's really your best guess. And things like rent or hopefully you'll have a lease or a contract or something to base like what your rent is going to be. For legal services, if I'm going to bring on an outsourced bookkeeper, like plus a lawyer on retainer, or bring a consultant or something, you just want to have enough to cover all of the services that you need, and do the best that you can, especially if you don't have any information like that. That's pretty much all you can do right now. So once that's completed, I can kind of go through the other expenses. So these are pretty much non-operational expenses. So these are like directly impacting operations in some way, including rent, including repairs and maintenance. I mean, these are all part of running a business, all of these expenses here. So other expenses, like depreciation, interest, bad debt, they are incurred by the business, but they're not directly related to like the day-to-day operations of the business. Other expenses you could put in this general section would be like foreign exchange rate. So if you're gaining or losing, gains or losses from foreign exchange, if you have an impairment loss, or like a legal settlement, like that could fall under this section. So, and these numbers are kind of driven by the inputs from different sections. So all of the additional inputs that was covered in the last video, these come into play, and these are calculating out how much like interest or depreciation you will incur. So that's where it's kind of important to kind of get this right on the previous inputs. And so with that, we've completed operating expenses for year one. And the next video is going to be looking at operating expenses for the growth for years 2 and 3. So like and comment if you found this video useful. Let me know if you have any other questions. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching the video.